Hi everybody, hope you're all doing well. I myself just got back from a trip to Moab, Utah with the 690. Posted a few videos of that already, so you can check those out if you want. This video is going to be sort of a review of how the 690 did, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about Moab itself, what I thought of the place, and what it's like. So getting right into it, I guess the short answer would be that the 690 was perfect. Never fell short on anything I did, but that's not saying a whole lot. Like if you watch the videos I posted, and I'll have some footage here too, but I never really pushed it very hard. It was my first time actually off-roading. I put maybe 500 miles on it last year after I bought it, and those were all road miles. Before then, maybe I'd seen a little bit of like gravel roads and some light, dirt paths, but that was on the 450 and it never amounted to much. Nothing like Moab. In Moab, it was a huge mixture of rocks, sand, whether it be packed or soft, gravel, same thing. Some step-ups too, like I've never done step-ups before, some whoops, but just took it easy. I did not want to wipe out. I did one time in some deep sand. I just felt like I hit it at a bad angle, and I didn't think to really try to accelerate out of it. But that was the only time. It wasn't bad or anything. It pushed my right handguard up out of the way a little bit, but I just was able to push that back down. But that just shows I need to replace those with some solid handguards. Suspension wise, there's no issues. I maybe could have softened them up a little bit. I have them on sport mode, which is good on the street, but yeah, it could have been a little plusher, but I never had any issues bottoming out, bouncing. The bike just handled even my weight pretty well, so no problems there. Power wise, I was never lacking, I'd say, but there were some times where I wish I had a little more. The thing is, I left it on standard mode, so I was never really revving high enough to be into the power. If I set it to 0, that would be advanced mode, then maybe I wouldn't have felt that way, but I mean, it never caused a problem. At the same time, if I had it in advanced mode, it might have been a little too much. I'd probably break the tire loose a little more often. Same thing kind of with ABS. I got it to come on a few times, but it probably helped me more than it would hinder me, because I'm not skilled enough to be using the rear brake or locking it up effectively. As for some of the mods I did, the skid plate definitely came in handy. I could hear the rocks bouncing off of that from the front tire. There were some big ones, but I didn't get any major scratches. I never high centered the thing, so it wasn't really a major test of it, but still did its job, did it well. I like it. The Nelson Rig saddlebags came in super handy. I had probably a liter of water in each one every time I went out, along with a hat, some sunscreen, and some wet wipes. I had, before this trip, I had no idea how nice it would be to have those along wherever you go. As for the tires, I was pretty impressed by the TKC 80s. Before the trip, I didn't really think much of them, I thought I'd be struggling, but they really didn't have a difficult time with anything. I mean, there was deep sand or anything like loose pea gravel. No matter what tire you're on, you're gonna have traction issues and that kind of stuff. On all the packed surfaces, rocks, no issues whatsoever, so I actually like those things quite a bit now. But I guess I'll wrap up the bike portion of this video by saying that the 690 is a lot more capable than I am right now, and that's great because I have room to grow, and as I do, I can push it further. But when it comes to Moab, the bike is fantastic. I mean, I'd say something like a 500 would be better on the trails, but we didn't just stick to the trails the whole time. Our campsite was couple miles out of town, so it was good to be able to ride into town on the bikes and go 70 miles an hour without any issues. and then go back to the campsite with a couple bundles of firewood because we didn't have any, and we didn't want to take the truck just to go get a few bundles. So pretty nice having that ability to travel a little bit more. I only had to pick it up twice, so at 340 pounds, when it was in deep sand, it was a little more of a hassle, but not bad. And there was another time on video where I just sort of dumped it on a hillside, and I picked that thing up like a bicycle that time. I did not notice the weight at all then. Yeah, and riding around, I didn't really notice it bogging down at all. I mean, we had a buddy there with a KLR 650, so if he's not complaining, I certainly won't. Now, as for Moab itself, the trails are amazing. The environment is really unique. I mean, I've never been to the Southwest before, but it is pretty cool, and it's almost like a different world. The town itself it's a nice little town, pretty simple. Just one major road going through it, 191, and everything's built around that. If you go off by like a block or two, it's just completely different. Like the strip is all restaurants and shops and stuff. It's not too touristy. I mean, everything is tooled towards adventure kind of stuff. So it's not like all these souvenir shops and garbage like that. So it's nicer than most destinations, I'd say. One weird thing I really noticed though was the hours every place kept. Restaurants, they all closed at like 8 o'clock, and I'm used to more like 9 o'clock, I'd say, especially if it's a bar. But then again, I guess there's a lot of Mormons out there, and so the culture was a lot different. The laws were a lot different. There was a like state-owned liquor store, I think. That's the vibe I got anyways, and I never got to go in there because I showed up at 7 o'clock and it was already closed. The actual like gear shops, those were open till 9, which was very nice and convenient. Now, of course, me and my cousin camped, and that was the free option out on Willow Springs Road, and there's just tons of other free camping sites. They just won't have utilities there for you, because like at Onion Creek there was camping, but they had actual bathrooms and stuff there. On Willow Springs Road and many other places, it's just no hookups, no facilities. I guess we did have porta potties that they would clean like every 3 days, but I guess that's paid for by how much you're spending in town, I guess. Yeah, it was very interesting out there. At Willow Springs, you can see the LaSalle's from there. You could maybe see a portion of Arches. That was kind of weird. The road we were on turned to trails, and one of the trails led right into Arches National Park, I guess. But if you're like me and you prefer little nicer living conditions, I mean, there's just tons of places in town. If you're unlike me and you have tons of money, that shouldn't be a problem for you either. And then you could probably just rent like a 500 or 350, whatever you want in town. But there's a lot more Jeep and side-by-side stuff that goes on in Moab. So yeah, we only came across one group of dirt bike riders. There was a few others here and there with bikes, and only one adventure guy on a Africa Twin. And overall, people are pretty respectful of each other, and I don't know if they're unwritten rules, but just trail courtesies. Yeah, I didn't see anyone rutting up off the trail or doing anything sketchy or that would sort of hurt the environment or hurt the area. I know there's lots of people who want to shut down trails around there, at least for motorized vehicles. Yeah, as long as everyone just takes care of the place and doesn't cause any problems, we should be able to maintain those trails for a long time. And I definitely hope to go back. So yeah, and if you have the means, definitely put this on your list of places to go. Like I said, I hope to go back there, but before I do, maybe try something else, I've always wanted to go to the Black Hills again. I've been there when I was a lot younger, I think it'd be pretty cool on a bike. Definitely don't want to go to like the Sturgis Rally or anything, but just go there on sort of an off season and yeah, just go through the Black Hills, because that's pretty neat country. I don't think the trail system's as good or established as Moab, but they do have quite a bit of trails out there that you can go on. We'll see. Let me know if you have any suggestions too.